Hello, welcome to the Savant video series. In this video, we will be showcasing the real-time interface between Savant ADC and Microsoft Dynamics GP. Let's take a look. Savant has a long history with the Dynamics product lines, and our solutions have integrated with GP since the late 1990s. In this demonstration, we will enter a purchase order in GP, receive it in Savant, and then review the receipt back in GP. We will then enter a sales order in GP, pick and confirm the order in Savant, and then follow the transactions back to GP. In our last example, we will track the cycle of a manufacturing order generated in GP and then processed by Savant.
Hello and welcome to the demonstration of Savant ADC working in conjunction with Dynamics GP 2015. In this demo, we're going to walk through some transactions and take a look at how we integrate with purchasing and receipts, sales orders with shipments, and then manufacturing orders. So let's get started. What we're looking at right here is the ADC admin console, and this is a screen where you can go in and check various statuses of how the warehouse is doing. You can set things up like new security, new bin locations, things like that. And this is where we will come back to take a look at certain inquiries and see where we're at. The second piece we're going to be showing is the scanner, and the handheld device or scanner is shown today using a browser, and this is what would be running on your handheld mobile device. And the third thing is going to be Dynamics GP 2015, and here we're going to be entering some transactions like purchase orders, sales orders, and MOs. Alright, so to start with, let's just take a look at the Savant side of the house here. We can look at purchase orders that are in the system, and we can see that we've got our last one here is 2079. And so let's go ahead and enter in a new purchase order. I take that back, it's 2080, and we can take a look at entering in a new purchase order. Secondly, we'll take a look at our sales order screen here. We've got a couple of sales orders that are already in the system, so we'll be entering a new one of those as well. So let's hop over to GP, and in the purchasing module we'll go ahead and enter in a new PO. Alright, we'll just go put in some of the defaults here. This is using the TWO test database that comes with Savant or GP. Sorry. Alright, and we will order some of our arms for our chairs that we will be manufacturing later in the process. So here we'll have 100 on order. We'll go ahead and save that. Looks like I forgot to put in the site ID. There we go. And now we will have PO 2081. We'll go ahead and print that because we do require that that gets printed to finalize the status to say that it's a good purchase order. There we go. So now that PO is going to be sent over to the ADC side so that it can be processed. While we're still in GP here, let's go ahead and put in a sales order. So go to sales transaction entry, and we'll enter a new order, 2236, choose a customer, and add that to our sales batch. And here we're going to order another item, cord, and we'll just order 3 of those. And save that. Alright, so now we've got some data to work with. We'll head back over to ADC and take a look at our purchase order. 2081 is now sitting here waiting to be received. So let's go ahead and walk through that process. On the handheld scanner, we're going to jump into our receiving option and enter that PO number. There are some defaults that get set up in the system as far as a bin location to receive into and some other workflow type of options. So here we're going to accept our defaults. We're going to select a printer for printing out license plate labels and choose our item that we want to receive. This can be a barcode scan, it can be a selection from the drop-down list, or it can just be typing in the data, whatever is easiest. And then we're going to do our receiving. So I'll go ahead and receive 100. And now that purchase order is fully received. And we can see on the Savant side that it's now showing as closed. If we want to include the closed line items, we can see that that's 100 received. And when we go and look at inventory, we can do a product inquiry from the Savant side, and we can see that we have this 100 sitting on the dock that we received with this particular license plate. So let's go ahead and put that away into inventory. And we can scan our pallet or our license plate ID. And the system's going to suggest an appropriate spot for us to put it away into. And we can choose if we want to accept that, or if we want to choose a different location, that's fine as well. So let's just go ahead and accept that. And now when we refresh our lookup, we see that we have that 100 plus the 68 that was already there sitting in our C01A location. The license plate is gone because this is a primary pick location, and there's some rules around how you set up your bin locations as to whether or not they'll allow for license plates, and this is just an example of that. You'll also notice that we are keeping track of the layers by date received, so we'll be able to always know how old the inventory is in the warehouse as it moves. Alright. So let's go ahead and jump back into GP, and we'll go back to our purchasing side here. Take a look at receiving transaction entry. And we have right here a receipt against our purchase order. PO 2081, we've got 100. Looks good, ready to post. So the Savant system is automatically generating these batches. We use eConnect for that process, and it will be ready for somebody to post. Okay, so now let's go back into Savant and take a look at the order that we put through. If I take a look at our open order details, this is where you will see any new sales orders or MOs that are created that need to be picked. Some of the MOs will need to be picked to the production line, and the sales orders will need to be picked for shipping. So here we've got our order that we created, 2236, and it's already generated a pick ticket for us that's printed, and now we can go ahead and pick that. So let's go in and back to our scanner. We'll go into our picking function, and the first thing we need to do is scan the barcode on the pick ticket that has the order number, and the system will go out then and find the oldest inventory in a viable pick location, and it will request that we go there and pick that. So we're going to go ahead and scan our location. And then we scan the item number that we're picking. and then we type in the product quantity. And now that one's picked. Of course, if there's multiple items, which we'll be able to see here in our next example, it's going to walk us through each of those bin locations and items to complete that pick. So now we can see that this order is in a picked status, and that's great. So it's sitting in there ready to be packed, ready to be shipped, whatever we want to do with it. There's an entirely separate demo that we can walk through on pick, pack, and ship, but for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to go in and confirm that order. And now that one is shipped, and it will now fall off of our list, basically saying that it's completed. There are some other inquiries that you can do to look at the details. So if I wanted to look at ORDST, I can see that it was picked at this certain time and by a certain operator, and it has the details of how much was picked. Alright, that looks great. So next we go back to GP, and let's take a look at the shipping side of the house. Sales orders, we go to sales batches, and what happens is with the interface from Savant back to GP for sales orders is we put these orders into a batch called Sav shipped, and that can then be transferred to invoice, at some point during the day whenever somebody is ready to do that. So we'll take a look here. Okay, so we'll come back into Great Plains and we will go to the transaction entry one more time. Let's take a look at what happened with this order. And here we can see that it's now in this Sav shipped batch. And we've got quantity ordered of 3. We can look at the details and we can see that it's been marked as 3 for being fulfilled and ready to be invoiced here, quantity to invoice. So then this is where the user can just take over the normal GP processes to transfer to invoice and then print and post that invoice. And this handoff is done using eConnect as well. Alright, so now our next piece we want to talk about is manufacturing orders. So on the manufacturing order side, we're going to create a chair. And actually I want to start with showing an item inquiry for our finished item of chair. We've got 5 on hand, and we want to go make some more. So we'll go into manufacturing order entry, and this is going to bring up the standard bill of material that was already defined, and we can go in and tell it how many. Let's make 5 more. We need to use our system date here. Alright, and then we can schedule the MO, and it builds the pick list based on that bill of material. That is all standard GP processes. If you want to use MRP or some other methodology to create the MOs, that's perfectly fine. So now we have an MO and we need to put it into released status. And then save. Alright. So what happens here then is we're going to be able to pick those components and then receive in the finished goods. So we'll go over to one other place here. We're going to talk about MO generator. And I'm going to turn that on. This is the process that Willowware provides to assist with processing manufacturing a little more smoothly. And now we'll come back into Savant, go to our open order details and refresh. And now we've got this MO23. Alright. So the process here to get the components out to the line is extremely similar to what we did with picking that sales order. One thing that you will notice is that we have a different order type. We have a manufacturing order type as opposed to an SO order type, and this can be configured based on the way that the customer wants to run the system. You can have many different order types. Okay, so we'll go back to our scanner, go to picking, and this time we're going to pick the components off of our MO. So here we're going to go to the first location where we need to pick the legs, and we need 20. Then we will go to the next location to get the seat assembly. And pick 5. And now we'll go get those arms. Of which we need 10. And now that one is fully picked. One thing to note is when it comes to the details of a manufacturing order, some of the items might be sub-assemblies or phantoms, and in that situation we basically pre-pick those behind the scenes so that the actual users don't have to worry about being prompted for them. And so you can see here we've got this back assembly and the back frames, and those are phantoms and or sub-assemblies on this particular MO. Alright, so we can see the date and time of when this was picked. All is good. And now we have to go in and receive that finished good. So the manufacturing process takes place. And we just go back to our regular receiving process, and in this case we will scan or enter in the MO number. You can see there's a little different configuration here from the way we did our POs. We've got a different type code here. We've got a different default receiving location coming off of the production line, which I've generated as line 1. Could be a work center number. That's another configuration thing. And now here we've got our chair. It wants 5. We'll go ahead and receive all 5. And now that is complete. So you don't have to receive all of them at once. You can do it in partial quantity. It's not a problem. So if you wanted to produce, a pallet at a time, that would be fine. Or maybe a shift's worth of production, report that. That's 100% okay. So if I go into my inventory here, I can now see for my chair that I have 5 that was in my location before, and I've now also got 5 sitting on line 1 with a license plate. Again, I can scan that license plate and put it away now to an actual bin location. And if we go back into GP, and we can watch the process run here where the process is doing the issuing of the raw materials as well as the receiving of the finished item. And we'll go ahead and close that. And now we can go look at our manufacturing order activity. Take a look, and we'll see that the MO generator has created some activity here where we've got our transactions and it's now closed. If we look at our inventory again, let's go back to item inquiry. We go to our chair and we can see that we have 10. So everything processed through based on that receiving. That one is a little more hands-free as far as you don't have to post. The Willowware MO generator handles all that posting for us automatically. And now we've got our inventory all back in line. And that's the entire process of moving through purchasing, receiving, shipping of a sales order. and then also creating a manufacturing order, moving the stock around in the warehouse, and then telling GP that we're finished, getting that finished good inventory back in, and that closes out the loop.
Thank you for watching Savant's video series. For more information, you can contact us by phone at 602-906-3047, by email info@savantwms.com, or visit our website www.savantwms.com.